Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are making the famous savory Ghanaian chips. These are so delicious, full of flavor. Let's dive right into the video. I will start off by walking you through the list of ingredients. We have some all-purpose flour. If you're in Ghana, you can use soft flour. Butter, it's at room temperature. Then we have half a teaspoon of salt and some nutmeg, half of an onion. I love using the purple onion for this, but I don't have any. Next, I have 7 cloves of garlic. These are small, that's why I'm using 7. But if you're using the regular size, about 4 cloves of garlic will do. To measure out your flour, you don't want to do the dip and scoop. That is when you just put the cup in the flour and scoop it out. What happens with that is you end up with more flour than you need. So what you want to do is fluff out the flour and then scoop it with a spoon into your cup, then measure it, level it off with a butter knife. I'm doing 4 cups today, so I will measure out 4 cups of flour and put it in my strainer or sifter to strain it. And I just want to loosen out any clumps that may be in there, or if there are any foreign objects in there. So you need 4 cups of flour, and I have a detailed video of how to measure out your ingredients. I'll leave it in the description box below. Next, I'm adding in a half a teaspoon of salt. Because I'm using the salted butter, that's why I'm using half a teaspoon. I'll grate in some fresh nutmeg, nothing like fresh nutmeg, then sift the ingredients together into the bowl. Eya ma nutmeg nin kumpa ebe mana am nothing so I de. Once you are done with the dry ingredients, set it aside. We'll move on to blend our ingredients. I have a little bit of water in the blender. I'll add in the garlic and the onion and then blend this. If you're new here, my name is Gifty. A warm and pleasant welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining the family, and also to our returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back and for your support. So next, I'll move on to measure out the butter, and I'm using the scale today. The butter is at room temperature, as I mentioned earlier, and for the 4 cups of flour, I'm going to use 130 grams of butter. And this is a recipe that you can easily double if you are making a huge batch, or you can also cut it in half if you're making just a little bit. That's perfect. We have 130 grams of butter. Next, we're going to work the butter into the flour. So I start off by mixing it just a little bit to distribute all the ingredients evenly, and we will work the butter into the flour until we have like a sandy texture or little crumbles. Alright guys, so we have the perfect texture that we want. You don't want to add too much butter, or once you're frying it, it's going to soak up the oil. Next, we'll add in the blended onion and garlic. So what I did was, it was a mistake that I did. I ended up adding a little bit of water to blend my ingredients, and I should have added it in bit by bit. Okay, so I ended up having like a wet dough, so I added a little bit of flour to get the perfect texture. So that's what you want to do. Just add it in bit by bit so you don't end up doing what I did. All right. So for a pastry like our Ghanaian chips, it works out okay to add a bit more flour if you happen to add more water than you needed, like I did. All right. For something like your donuts or cakes, you don't want to add too much liquid in there. Then you end up having to add more flour, which will give you a tough or a dense texture. You don't want that. You want your cake or donuts to be nice and light and delicious. We are done mixing our dough, and we have the perfect texture. It's not too hard, nor is it too soft. It's just perfect, and you have a nice clean bowl. So I set it aside to rest for about 10 minutes. So onto a clean working surface, you want to dust some flour. Then I'll add in one. I have 2. Okay, so I'll add in 1 of the doughs, and then I'll dust it with some flour. Then we'll begin to roll out and roll out. Let me see you rolling and hating. Let's roll out. Come on, let's roll out. All right, now that we've sung a little bit, let's continue. So as you roll your pastry out, you want to flip it over and dust some flour should it be sticking or anything. So you want to get it to the thickness that you want. I want it to be nice and thin, that way when you fry it now kema grill. Once you have it to your desired thickness, trim off the ends so your pastry is looking nice and sexy just like you. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Trim off all the crooked edges, and then we will cut it into strips. You can use a pastry cutter or a pizza cutter, or you can also use a knife, whatever you have available. I will now set the strips aside, and I'll dust a little bit of flour onto the working surface, and this will help our dough not to stick together. So we have one of our strips ready to cut. You can use a knife to cut this into the sizes, or we're cutting it at a slant or the bias. You can use a knife, you can use a scissor, and that's how we were taught back home, but I'm going to use the knife. You can also use a pastry cutter to do this, and you want to cut it slanted at a bias, okay, into very nice long strips, and that's how we are doing it, guys. So this is what we call our flour chips back home in Ghana, and it's very big on Christmas, on occasions, Christmas, birthday parties, I mean any occasion, you name it, you find our chips over there. Usually our parents or someone older will mix it, and then they'll cut it into the strips and give it to you, the child, to cut it into the shapes or the sizes, right? I don't even know what I'm saying, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. So it's fun, it's simple, and the beauty about it is that you don't have to wait till an occasion or Christmas or any event to enjoy it. That's why we learn how to do things on our own, so we can enjoy it at the comfort of our home and at any time that you want. So when cutting your chips, and you don't want it to stick, so you want to dust your knife or whatever you cutting it with a little bit of flour, just a little bit of flour to make sure that it doesn't stick. All right, since we're not making a lot of chips, I'll continue cutting everything, and once we are done, we'll fry it all together. But you can start frying as you go and then keep cutting. All right, but I'll just do that. I'll finish cutting it all, and then we'll fry it all together. And I also want to use this opportunity to encourage someone that when you try something for the first time and it doesn't go as you wish, or the second time and it doesn't go as you wish, you keep on trying until you get it right. They say little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. I'll use myself as an example. That the first time I made meat pie, I was taught over the phone. I was craving meat pie. I called my sister in another state, and she told me the basics of it. I made it. The first time it tasted good, but I ended up leaving it in the oven for far too long, and it was hard, but it tasted good. All right, and that's the if you're someone who's willing to learn, you can always get it. You can always get it, because I have a lot of people reach out to me. Oh, I tried something, it didn't go out, so they give up. But you need to keep trying. You need to have the I can do it mentality. You need to have the I'm going to learn. You have to be teachable. Yeah, that's the word. You have to be teachable in order to learn how to do stuff. No one was born with all these talents or all these things in them, but with learning, you know, I always say we never stop learning until we are 6 feet under. So as long as you're living, you're breathing, you are walking on this surface earth, you have to learn something new every day. So that's my little rant over there. So we'll keep on rolling our dough until we are done, and then we will fry our chips. We are almost done cutting the chips, so at this point you want to go ahead and preheat some oil. I'm using grapeseed oil, which I've gone ahead to preheat, and I will test one strip of the chip. And as you can see, my oil is nice and hot, and so as it begins to surface on top or rise on top, then you know that your oil is at the right temperature. So I'll drop some in there, and also you want to go ahead with a fork or whatever you're using to kind of move the chips around so it doesn't stick together. So as you drop the chips in there, you want to keep moving it around, and the hot oil helps it not to stick once you begin to move it around. And also don't use a plastic knife. As you can see, the fork started to deform on me, So yeah, one man show is not easy. So please like this video for me, share this video for me, because one man show and yeah easy. All right, and I know you're going to make this Easter season, so share this video for me so we can get it to a lot of people out there so they can all enjoy this deliciousness this holiday season. So you want to fry your chips until it's nice and golden brown. You don't want it to be too dark, because as it sits, once you get it out of the oil and it sits, it will get still continue to cook. All right, so you want it to be just perfect, that and yes, about glass, you get me. You don't want it to be a simple glass, but oh yeah, wow, still what's it glue now yet. So the first batch is done. It's nice and golden brown, just as you see. Very perfect. I'll get it out of the oil and make sure you place it on a paper towel to drain off any excess, and I will go in with my second batch and keep frying until we are done. So for the second batch and the other batches to follow, what I do is, at this point your oil is really hot, so I lower the heat just a little bit so my chips don't cook on the outside or brown on the outside and it's not really cooked on the inside. So that's what I do. I just lower the heat a little bit and keep moving it around until it all separates. And yeah, that is it. So let me know in the comment section, what are you bringing over to eat this chips, to enjoy this chips with? Are you bringing Fanta, malt, Ghana Fanta, Ghana Coke, Ghana Sprite, and what are you bringing? Or some juice or water? Let me know in the comment section below. And just like that, guys, our last batch is ready. I think I did this about 3 or 4 batches, I can't quite remember. And if you're doing this on a larger scale, you want to go in there and clean out your oil maybe once or twice if you're doing on a larger scale. But my oil was still good, so I didn't have to do that. But yeah, your kitchen is going to smell amazing and delicious. You smell the onion, you smell the garlic. It smells amazing and the taste is just incredible. And we have the nutmeg in there, which adds a nice touch of flavor and fragrance to the pastry. Very simple and delicious. And if you are making this for an event, you can find yourself a cute nice bag them in there, and you are ready for business, sis or bro. And that is it for today, guys. If you find this video helpful and are inspired to try it, you can also use this for business as well. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Kindly like and share this recipe with your family and friends, and also on your social media platforms. Thank you so much for staying with me today, and until we meet again, stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and be well. Bye y'all.